and you'll see that we live in a world where we don't give a fuck, bitch. Before we start, this episode is brought to you by you, the viewer.
And only you, and for you. We're back again. It feels like forever once again.
Yes.
It's like riding a fucking bicycle. I feel like I'm a noob.
How long has it been since we recorded? Like,
it's
2 weeks. Yep.
Wild. We asked you guys.
You know what else is crazy?
Wow.
That's it.
Really? That's what it was.
Yeah.
I feel like I have broccoli in my teeth.
Do you see what we deal with on a daily basis? This is my life.
I think I'm gassy.
Please don't fart. I'll probably vomit.
First of all, let me tell you guys. Walked in the kids' room. Tori's trying to put up curtains, which was an epic fail. I walked in the kids' room and I took a whiff of her fart. She goes there, shit fart, smell, and I was like wiping my mouth because it was so, like, and she's like, I was like, babe, did you fart? And she's like, yes. And the kids were there laughing, and I'm like,
oh,
they sat in it. Yeah, they're cool
with that.
In their room.
That is so evil.
And the fact that kids sit and fart and
they don't care.
They didn't care. They were laughing. And let me tell you, I can't even argue with this girl without them having her back.
Oh yeah.
They're like, they put me in. They're like,
that's me and Ayla will have her back.
Always.
I know. They don't have my back for nothing.
Yeah, that's
I'm
fine.
like, okay, cool.
My kids are similar.
So
get used to it.
And I didn't carry you.
Get used to it because it's never gonna end.
That's Ayla.
Tori comes to the picture and it's like, who are you, mom?
Yeah, but Kita does it with you too.
Kita will
back you up.
And then Ayla defends her.
Yeah.
Totally
It's
opposite.
cute, actually.
Now, let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah.
We are talking for you guys once again. We want to give advice the best we can on very random topics. I have a list over here. I asked you guys what you wanted us to talk about, what advice you needed. Tori has some as well.
This is, again, our
Opinion.
unprofessional.
Yes.
What do you say?
Yeah, our unprofessional opinion.
Our
You don't need
unprofessional opinion. So
come
do
from.
what you will with it. Don't do anything with it. Whatever. If it.
They asked for it.
I know,
so-
but still.
It's the ones who don't ask for it that have the biggest mouths.
Well,
Okay.
can we talk about how a couple of people got pissed off at our taboo topics?
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
that's why they're taboo topics. That's what it's meant to do. And
So
personally,
us saying we're not political is not a good thing. Us saying we endorse, or would you even call it an endorsement if we're saying, hey, we like what this person's saying?
The truth of the matter is you can never make everyone happy.
Right.
So we're going to have our opinion at the end of the day. And the reason we can stand behind it is because we know we're good people.
Right.
We know our hearts and we know that we really care.
I don't
Yeah.
feel
All that
bad
matters.
for saying I don't like politicians who don't give a shit about basic human rights.
Well,
So-
someone said you can't say you care about people and then not care about politics. But yes, you can, because the way that politics is set up is not for the people.
Right,
yeah.
And
So-
so you want us to vote lesser of the two evil every time?
Right.
That's not fair.
It's not fair.
But I also said that there are Republicans who have some of the same mindset Democrats have.
Yeah.
Not every Republican have all the same belief systems.
No.
It's it's different across the board.
I think people need to understand the fact that Republican, Democrat, Independent, these parties were created to divide people.
That's the point.
They want us to be divided. It's like football. You fight with other fans because you like the Eagles and somebody else likes the Patriots,
Right,
and you're
right.
fighting.
Right.
It's literally the same.
Well,
You guys treat it like that.
Someone made the comment like, well, one party cares about people and the other party doesn't care about people. But that's not the
That's not
truth.
true.
First
None
of all,
that is true.
that's why we keep ourselves out of a side.
Like Michael Jackson said. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
Exactly.
Nobody cares about us. Like, they're
I thought you were
Democrat.
Democrat.
No one cares about us more than we care about each other. Like, we need to be the
Yes.
people. That's the whole point. Like,
Right.
we want to take ourselves out of the equation.
Yup.
And like find a way to do it without the label. I don't think that's that.
I don't think we said
And politicians are all in bed with the same fucking corporations.
Right. Well, we were called ignorant because, or what did they call us? They called us.
That sentence wasn't even coherent.
No, there was missing 3 words in it, and basically she called us idiots for not having a stance in politics.
Well,
but
you know
whatever.
what? I'll be an idiot then.
I don't
I
know.
don't give a fuck.
I'm sorry, I don't have a stance between Evil and evil.
Somebody said here,
That's my
eat
stance.
this bowl of shit or eat this bigger bowl of shit. Would you be happy eating shit?
No,
but that's people get pissed off when you don't have a stance. It makes them like, and their minds go cajubbled.
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck do you mean you don't have a stance on something? We're like, we do have a stance on something. It's just that we love people. Like, it's not
All
that
you guys are just fucking
it's literally that's what they said.
Just shut the fuck up
And do as you're told.
and do what you're told.
Because and be a sheep, but absolutely not.
They
No,
want
okay.
us. They want us to pick up because
Pick a
you're
side.
forced to pick a side.
We don't want to pick a
They
side.
think you're forced to, not we're forced. You don't have to do shit.
And the point we made was that if it were medieval times, we'd be burned on the stake because we are.
Oh yeah, we'd be those people.
We don't conform.
And that's not to say
That's
that there are
what it
certain, like, of course, with certain issues, we fall very left leaning, but that doesn't mean
Because
that.
someone's made that a thing. Well, that's the point.
Right, exactly.
Someone's made it a thing that it's divided. You have to have this label because of these viewpoints. We don't care.
Right.
We just want to be good fucking humans. It's
Right.
not that
We
big of a
always
deal.
want to live
Freely.
freely.
100%.
Right. Anyways,
Anywho,
let's talk about
So
advice
the
topics.
first topic I have, and I think we've already touched on this a little bit, how to set boundaries. How to set boundaries when you came from a very toxic or traumatic background. Basically, how do you rewire your brain so that you're now in control and you can set boundaries for yourself?
I can say this for somebody who has come from a toxic, specifically parent, like one of my parents being really toxic and not respecting them. It's not a one and done, you flip a switch and it's something you have to consistently work at. You can set the boundary, but then you have to maintain those boundaries.
Right.
And when you're dealing with fucking assholes, it's hard. They get to your head, they manipulate.
Agreed.
So I would say, fuck anybody who doesn't respect your boundaries after you set them.
I mean, at some point, when is enough enough?
Right.
At some point, like if somebody's not respecting your boundaries, you gotta distance yourself.
Well, the point is they don't know how to set them. And I think the way you can do that is you have to put yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
We live so often to please everyone else, and we want everyone to approve of us, and we want them to be happy, and we've been conditioned from that since childhood.
Yeah.
That if they're not happy, then the home is unsettled. Like it feels uneasy.
Yeah.
So you bring that over into adulthood, and the idea of setting a boundary is it brings you back to like that childhood trauma of if I say something wrong, I'm going to get in trouble, or they're going to abandon me, and those sorts of things. And so I think when you learn self-love and how to put yourself first, you no longer fear the abandonment because you understand that it's your life to live.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it might sound so simple, but when it comes to like friends and stuff like that, you have to go where you pay attention to how you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
If you're leaving an interaction feeling more when you left, that means you need to set a boundary. Like if you're leaving an interaction, there are friends that I've had that luckily I don't speak to anymore, y'all know, that I used to leave their house, sit in my car, and have to and like that's how you know that's somebody you don't want in your life. Every interaction you have should be a positive one, and if it's not, then you know you need to step away. Yeah.
Right. You don't owe anybody your time. You don't owe anybody anything. And if you've noticed that over and over again that they stepped over your boundaries and they've made you feel depleted, like Tori was saying, that's when you know it's time to put a boundary in place and say, even if it's uncomfortable, that's the hardest part, is having the uncomfortable conversation and saying, I love you, however, I put myself first and I need to set this hard boundary with you.
And the people that care about you, that they mean something to you, you hope that they react in a positive way and understand, okay, your feelings are valid, and they want you in their life. They would respect your boundaries without a problem.
And if they can't and they don't respect your boundaries, then it's going to be hard for you. You may have to cut some people. So that's something you may have to come to terms with as well.
Yeah. To me, like what I've learned is like boundaries equal like actual love,
self-love.
Yeah,
no, it's true. I mean, if y'all
it's
came up to us,
it's the biggest form of self-love.
Yeah, if y'all came up to us and said, "Guys, this is what we need," and I'd be like, "Okay, yeah, sure."
Because it's not about us. Like in any case, it's not about them. It's about you. And you know, you holding on to something that's painful, it's not affecting the next person, it's affecting you. They don't know that you're hurting from those things until you say something about it.
Yeah.
So,
And you have to set boundaries with people that that you love as well, that you want to maintain relationships with, because you can't give to them if you're depleted all the time. You can't pour from an empty cup.
right. So just think about, if you're not setting a boundary, how real is your relationship with that person?
Right.
Because more than likely you're walking on eggshells.
Mm-hmm.
You're having fake interactions just to appease the conversation and the
And you're
person.
people pleasing.
That's why it's draining your energy. That's why it's not fun.
Right,
That's
because
why-
you're not
because
being
just-
real.
Exactly.
Yep.
It takes so much energy to be fake than it is just to be yourself.
Yeah, that's
and
the
your true
point.
self.
Yeah, and if you can't be honest and real with somebody, then that's not who you want a relationship with.
Right, but I feel like that's the majority of the time it's how it is, and I'm going to say with parents, because it is.
Yeah.
And I think people have such a hard time setting boundaries with parents because they've conditioned you to be afraid of them.
Oh yeah, my dad guilted me my entire life to the point that I almost invited him to my graduation recently. And then
By the way, I'm proud of you for not doing that.
very cool.
That was huge for you.
Yeah.
Because I know there also were other people in your life.
Yes. Who were like, oh, it's already
It's
this
your dad.
year.
It's your dad.
But then literally the universe, what was it, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Now 3 weeks later, something else has developed.
Right.